over the holidays? Tell me what. You're shaking your head.
How did you know, Liz? It was hard. There were too many temptations and too much going on during the holidays to stay on track.
And you know what? We're actually going to talk about basically about accountability tonight, and I definitely want you guys to get involved in talking about it, because really our accountability at being successful, that's really what makes us successful, is the accountability, and being aware of the things that you do, on pretty much, on a daily basis, and what are things that, there's just there's one basic thing I think if you keep track. So did you stay on track during the holidays? No? You did? Did you notice that there was problems with the scale not staying on track? I actually had someone tell me that she goes, I was so busy during the holidays and I really wasn't paying a lot of attention to what I was doing. I was here, I was there, and she says, I never really weighed myself. She said, and I noticed my pants felt a little tight. She says, I got on the scale and I was up 10 pounds. And she goes, so now it's time to buckle down. It happens. And, even though it's important to weigh yourself, the scale doesn't have to define, because it's how you're doing in your weight loss and how you're feeling in your health. So accountability, it's a habit that you can use to keep you on track. The definition of accountability is the quality or state of being accountable, especially an obligation or willingness to accept responsibility, to account for one's actions. So, really the bottom line is everything that goes in our mouth, it's completely on us. No one's forcing you to eat the bag of potato chips or the Cheetos or the box of See's candy that someone left on the desk at work that just was calling you, eat me, eat me, eat me, So, we came to the end of the stressful time of year. Now it's just time to kind of get back on track. And sometimes, though, is it hard to get back on track? Is it sometimes hard? What's that?
It's harder to get back on track.
It is. It really is. But some of the things to remember, you know what? Did you, when you were busy, were you weighing yourself weekly? How many of you weigh yourself weekly? How many of you weigh every day? Okay. Did you measure your food out during the holidays?
No.
Okay. How about your protein? Did you guys get your protein in during the holidays? What's that?
I'm talking to my daughter.
Oh. Did she get her protein in during the holidays? Oh. Okay. We're going to have to address that, because protein's real important.
Yeah.
We need to all take responsibility for who, for what, and for where we are right now. And the thing is that in your weight loss, and we've all done it, and I'll bet you every single one of you could tell me that, how many times have you said, you know what, one Hershey's Kiss won't matter. You know what, if I didn't measure it this time, it won't matter. You know what, it does matter, because you know what, in the end, what does it do? It adds up, And then, but if you fail, and so if you're not being honest with yourself, it's just like, how many of you had to keep food logs and stuff before your surgery? Anybody have to keep food diaries? But if you didn't write the information down in there, what were you doing? Lying. And you weren't honest. So, and the thing is, if you fail to do that, you're going to prohibit your ability to move forward. Okay? I like this. It's something I was reading the other day. Surgery does not cure obesity. What we had is we were given a tool, right? And the bottom line is, only you can control that tool. I could tell you, we could go out to lunch together, and I could say, you know what, don't let me do that. But, do you have control over me? No, you don't. And so you have to be responsible for everything that you do. And the bottom line, it boils down in the end that you're the one that's accountable. And then remember, the other thing is that, when you're trying to stay on task, you could eat all these calories, but you have to burn off those calories. You know, you absolutely have to burn off the calories. So it's calories in versus calories out. And, you know, no one can do any of that for you. You have to do it yourself. So what keeps you accountable? You weigh yourself every day, okay? Everybody pretty much weighs Does everybody weigh weekly? Do you weigh? Can I ask you, are you struggling?
No.
Okay. So the bottom line is that, and I'm not meaning to call you out. Sorry, I didn't mean that. But, you know, if you weigh yourself regularly, you're going to know where you're at. You know what? And if you get on the scale and it says you're 200 pounds, guess what? You're 200 pounds. Mm-hmm. But you see that number, and you can do something about it. Because guess what? We have the tool. We have a tool that we just have to start putting into use. And I think if you weigh yourself, it gives you a sense of, I think, being responsible. You know, and you know, I'm responsible for this. I can do it. You know, it's just like when you were getting ready to go to surgery. It's the same thing. But so think about it this way. I mean, this is actually kind of scary. If you thought about it, if you really weren't paying attention to what you were doing, and say you put on a half a pound a month, okay? In 5 years, you'll have gained 30 pounds. 30 pounds is a lot of weight, you know. I mean, and you could really be out of control and gain even more than that over a 5-year period. You could gain 30 pounds truly in a year, you know. And then the other thing is that when you weigh yourself, do you weigh yourself randomly? Do you weigh yourself at the same time? When do you weigh yourself?
First thing in the morning.
And you know, and the thing is that if you weigh in your birthday suit before your shower, you should always weigh in your birthday suit before your shower. You know, but the thing is okay. So you weigh yourself daily. You weigh yourself once a week. Do you have a plan? So you get on the scale and you notice that it's inched up a bit. Do you have like a limit that you're like that sends warning lights to you?
Yes, I have a limit. It's 3 pounds.
It's the 3 pounds. And that's something that you probably need to look at is what is as much as you're going to allow yourself to bounce back up. Okay? And then the other thing is, you know, if you think about your weight and you think about goals, look at yourself now, okay? And then look at how old you are right now. Look at how much you weigh right now. But in 10 years, where will you be? You know, you'll be, you know, in 10 years, I'll be 64 years old. In 10 years, my husband will be 68 years old. You know, my kids, my grandkids, everything changes. But you know what? We still have the ability, because we have the tool, to lose our weight and to maintain. And at this point, for a lot of you, is now maintaining your weight. But how are you going to maintain your weight if you're not weighing yourself? You know? So enlighten me to some of the things that you guys are doing.
I log everything that goes into my mouth. I plan most of my meals ahead of time. I do fudge a little bit here and there, but I log it and I take accountability for it. Even the fudge. I log the occasional Hershey's Kiss. I try very hard to stay within my calorie range, and I'm the one who has to take full responsibility for that.
So you're pre-op though, and how much, you know, you've been logging your food and everything. I know we've talked about that before, but you're logging your food and you've been successful. I can see it. So you've been successful, and by doing that, have you noticed the weight loss and all of that? Have you noticed some pounds coming off?
Oh yeah, I have. I'm gonna brag a little bit. I've lost because I don't remember exactly the weight when I started, but between 20 and 25 pounds I've lost since I started in October.
Mm-hmm. And that's, you're logging it, you're taking responsibility for it, and you're owning what you're not doing. And you're drinking your protein drinks. Yeah. And that's something that's really important, you guys. You have to stay on top of your protein. You must take your protein. 80 to 100 grams. is your goal. You should try to get 80 to 100 grams total in. It needs to be combined. You getting your protein in? How come?
No, it doesn't taste good. What kind? I drink whatever's at the house, but I don't drink it because of the taste. My parents have bought almost every kind, but I don't like any of them.
But you know what? You have to become a mixologist. Really, I'll have to bring her to my house and make you some protein. It really boils down to, I think, finding one that you can tolerate.
I had the same issue. I didn't like nectar, I didn't like muscle milk or other ones. I bought a bunch and gave them all away. And what I found is the unflavored nectar that I purchased online, for me, it adds the least amount of taste. I actually just add it to my Crystal Light.
Remember one thing is that your organs, your heart is a muscle. And you know what? When you're not getting in the appropriate nourishments, i.e. protein and stuff, what it does is your body starts using what it's got. So you really have to truly look at what it's consuming to your body as opposed to not.
You know, some people will say they don't like the flavor, so they're not getting in their protein. But this is important. It's like a medication. It doesn't matter what it tastes like. You have to get in your protein.
If you start I think you need to probably look at what you're eating, and I think you need to count to figure it out. Are you getting 3 ounces of chicken? Are you eating an egg? And total it all up and see what is it. Is it the texture of the protein? Is it the smell of the protein? Just all of the above? We need to figure it out because we'll figure it out and get you probably on the right path. Because, we don't want anything to, in all honesty, because we did the surgery to definitely, be healthy. How much protein are you getting in with food? Do you know? Okay. You're gonna come visit me, okay? We're gonna have a lunchtime meet together, and we'll get it figured out. The other thing is that in terms of being really aware of things that you're doing, and we talked about this, and this is why I'm bringing it up, is that in our pre-op class, the big discussion was about smoking. I just want to reinforce, and you guys can toss this around too, is smoking can cause gastric ulcers, okay? And you have to be really careful because those gastric ulcers can be pretty tough. So if you are and have, it's just like the women who are pregnant and they quit, smoking while they're pregnant and then they go back to smoking after they have their baby. It's the same thing. So be really careful because now your poor little stomach is just this little stomach or this little kind of like a hot dog, and so you really want to protect it as much as you can.
Back on the protein, I didn't like protein either, and I went from adding the milk, I added peanut butter and different things, and I ended up just using water. I still didn't really like it, but after 2 weeks or so, I got used to it, and it's what I drink all the time now. Over the last 3 months, which includes the holidays, I've only lost 10 pounds, and over the last 4 weeks, I haven't lost any weight. I keep fluctuating, and I'm working out. I keep track of my food. It's frustrating. I know I've come a long way, but I still have a ways to go, and I don't want to get stuck here.
The body kind of slows down for a bit, but anybody have suggestions for her?
I did the same thing. I would go a period of time without losing anything, then I would get on the scale and I'd be down 10 pounds.
Her and I talked about this earlier, and as we talked with Adrian, is sometimes it's changing up what you're eating, how much you're eating, logging, and what she's doing. And I don't have a 100% answer for her. But, it may be, you're working with a trainer, all that. You may have to start logging. Do you log what you're doing?
No, I don't log what I eat. I kind of plan ahead and try to watch it.
No, I think you need to start either writing it down, fit daying it. Look at the calories you're getting in.
Could it be because they have trainers that they are building muscle and that's why they're not losing weight?
But they should be burning fat.
Oh.
They should be burning some fat. And so if they're burning some fat, they should, muscle, and this is, everyone always says this, well, muscle weighs more than fat. Muscle doesn't weigh more than fat. A pound of muscle and a pound of fat is a pound.
Right.
But, people, I don't know if you've ever heard that, well, muscle weighs more than fat. No, muscle takes up less room than fat. Fat takes up more room. But the bottom line is that, it may be you definitely probably need to log down everything you're doing to see where you're at.